What's up, everyone? It is Mr. M, and I'm back today with a collection update. Primarily some 2019 releases, but I have a couple of releases from before this year as well. And to start things off, I have a couple of tapes from Headsplit Records. This first one is the Apraxaw split between Apraxic and Hacksaw. Super short. I don't even think this thing reaches 5 minutes in length. Apraxic has one song. Hacksaw technically has three, although there's only two listed. That last one, Two More Fucking Songs, is basically two more fucking songs under one song title. And Apraxic plays a Autopsy-influenced style of death metal. And it's not worship, though. They add their own uniqueness and flair to it. And then Hacksaw I've talked about before with their album, Amplified Noise Slaughter. They're a traditional grindcore band, super short songs, super punishing. You know, they don't take themselves seriously at all, as you could tell by the song titles as well. So yeah, if that interests you, Autopsy-influenced death metal with some traditional grindcore, give this split a listen and check out their previous releases as well. I believe the only release Praxic currently has, other than the split, is a demo they did last year called Gun-Eye Implant, and that was put out on End Theory Records. I think you may be able to get it from Headsplit Records, but they might have sold out. I know End Theory still has some copies available though. And then with Hacksaw, like I said, Amplified Noise Slaughter, their debut full-length album, you can get that on tape as well through Headsplit. Someone else is doing the CD. I think Headsplit might have some copies in their distro of the CD, but I don't know who's doing the CD if they don't. And then another demo. This is Hyrax with their 1984 demo. 4 songs. This is the demo that got them signed to Metal Blade Records. It repeats on both sides. And to me, Hyrax plays a new wave of British heavy metal influenced speed metal. And the one band that I really want to compare them to is Iron Maiden, which is weird because the album I want to compare it to is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and that album didn't come out until like 1988, I think. And this came out in 1984, obviously, so Hyrax couldn't have been influenced by it. But that was the first one that came to mind. And, you know, all the usual suspects with the new wave of British heavy metal, I'm sure I could compare them to as well. But I thought that the Iron Maiden comparison was best. And then for the speed metal, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head that at the time was doing this sort of thing. But give it a listen. Hopefully you like it if you like traditional heavy metal or speed metal. And on to some CDs now. First up is a record that I fucking love. This is Motionless in White with Disguise. This came out earlier this year on Roadrunner Records. And this album sees Motionless in White ditching their metalcore roots even more. There's only 2 songs on here that really could count as metalcore songs. The rest of it is like traditional metal or hard rock. Now, a lot of people are comparing this to Breaking Benjamin, and I can't speak for that because I don't listen to Breaking Benjamin. But they also, along with pretty much ditching their metalcore sound entirely, they ditched the industrial elements to their songs as well. And in particular, their last record, Graveyard Shift, they made it a point that they really wanted to have those industrial electronic elements on their record. And then on this one, there's only 2 songs that really have any sort of electronics. Piano is still there. They've used piano for all their records, but it's just like the industrial elements that really made them stand out to me in comparison to other metalcore bands that were using the electronic stuff. You know, it's not there anymore. It's kind of a shame because they always did it in a way that fits so well. As for the songs, the first 2 songs that were released was the title track, which is the opening track, and then Brand New Numb. And Brand New Numb was kind of iffy. Like, I don't like that it was released as a single. At the same time, I kind of am, because it's my least favorite song on the record. And then the title track, Disguise, I guess that kind of has some electronic stuff in there as well, but it's just like very small. Um, those were the first two singles, and that kind of introduced us to the new type of sound and style that Motionless in White was going for. And then the third single, Undead Ahead Part 2, that kind of brought everyone back to their metalcore roots, basically, because on every single record that Motionless in White has done, they have always done a part 2 or a part 3 to something from a previous release. Even on their first album, they did a part 2 to a song that was on their first EP. And when they do these parts, when they do these second and third parts to songs, they bring whatever style they did from the whatever album it was on originally, they bring that style back to this part 2. And so the first Undead Ahead was off of their first record when they were a metalcore band. And so Undead Ahead Part 2, a lot of people, that song was what they were expecting when they first released Disguise and Brand New Numb. And so they ended up getting it with Undead Ahead Part 2. And then there's some more chilled out parts with songs like Legacy and Catharsis. They're still pretty heavy, but it's just so much more laid back, and it's not as crushing on the head as a song like Undead Ahead or Thoughts and Prayers is. And overall, this one and then their previous record, Graveyard Shift, are my two favorites. And even though I really like Motionless in White, on their first 3 records, there was always some song that I would skip just because I didn't like it. And so now I'm happy with these last 2 records that they've made. So obviously they didn't make it for me, but I'm just so happy that I don't have to skip a song because I don't like it. And then the lyrical content, fuck, that's a whole nother thing, because I was able to connect lyrically with that in a way that I hadn't done with a record in a long time. And it kind of, I'm not going to say what songs, but there's songs on there that kind of sum up the last 10 years of a fucking roller coaster ride that I've had in my life. But even without connecting to the lyrics, I think musically it is a very good record, and I definitely think you guys should check it out for sure. Next up is a record that is not out yet officially. This is Carnifex with World War X. I got this early because they are on the Summer Slaughter tour, and I went and saw that show, and they fucking killed it. They ended up playing 3 songs off of this record, and I was kind of surprised that they were selling this early, but I guess at the same time not really, because it comes out on August 2nd, which is in the middle of the tour. So it was probably just easier for them to have the CDs and start selling them as opposed to waiting until August 2nd to start selling it. But yeah, there's 9 songs on here, and kind of like what I was saying with Motionless in White. At the beginning of their career, Carnifex was a deathcore band, and now as they've gotten further into their career, they have not entirely ditched the deathcore sound, but they've really started straying away from it. On Hell Chose Me, their 5th record, they started adding blackened elements to it, and since that record up till now, they've really started adding death metal elements as well, with just the riffs are more death metal as opposed to being a deathcore riff. And then the blackened elements are always cool because, that to me is what has made them stand out more than bands like Whitechapel or Suicide Silence or Oceano or any other band that's in the deathcore genre. For the most part, all those bands evolve, whether it's good or bad, but I've always enjoyed how this band has evolved and sounded more than any of the other bands. They got Elisa White Glues to do the song No Light Shall Save Us, which was the first single that we got off of World War X. And to my knowledge, it was the first time that anyone has actually sang on a Carnifex record. She still does her screaming stuff, but she sings as well, which adds a whole lot more depth to the song. And then on All Roads Lead to Hell, they got Angel Vivaldi to do a guest solo on that. And I've seen him live, and he's a fucking wizard on guitar. The solo is sick as fuck. And then on the song Brushed by the Wings of Demons, I think his name's Jason Sukoff. Yeah, he produced this record. He did a guest solo on that song as well. Overall, it's just, as I was saying, the blackened elements are there as they've been on the last two records, so it's not, I think they're less prominent than the last two records, but they're still there. And the fact that they're starting to go more in a death metal direction as opposed to a deathcore direction, it just makes it so much more better of a listen than their first couple of records were, because I know I've showed off deathcore records on my channel before, but I've never truly been into deathcore all that much. And Carnifex is one of those bands that makes it so I can enjoy deathcore. But yeah, World War X by Carnifex out on Nuclear Blast, out on August 2nd. If you're seeing the Summer Slaughter Tour, you can pick this up either early, if it's before August 2nd, or after the record comes out. And speaking of Summer Slaughter and speaking of new music, Cattle Decapitation is also on the Summer Slaughter Tour, and they have a new album called Death Atlas coming out in November. And they played at least 2 new songs off their new record, and they sound so fucking good. Like, I cannot wait for this record to come out. And if you go to the Summer Slaughter Tour, you can buy a pre-order laminate, and it will come with a code where you can either get the CD or a digital download. And if you get the CD, they say that it is guaranteed to get to you by the release day, which, who knows? It did, when the Black Stallion Murder did it on the Summer Slaughter Tour in 2017, it happened, for me anyway. I know there was a couple people who were like, it got there on the release day, and they were pissed for some reason, even though they said that it was guaranteed to be there by the release day, and it did. But yeah, new Cattle Decapitation, new Carnifex. Lorna Shore is also on the tour, and they have a new album coming out, but they aren't doing any pre-ordering or anything like that on the tour. So I just have to wait for them to do something. But yeah, back to Carnifex, fucking killer record. Check it out. Check out the 2 singles that you can right now, the title track and No Light Shall Save Us. And then the rest of the record will be out in a week. And straying away from music, we have George Carlin. This is You Are All Diseased. This was his 1999 stand-up special. An hour long, about, give or take a few minutes in either direction. And yeah, he is pissed off during this fucking special. He rips into everything from airport security to people who smoke cigars, people with barbed wire tattoos, fucking children. He just rips everything apart, basically from like the mid-'80s till the end of his career when he died. His stand-up comment, even before the mid-'80s, his stand-up routines were always based around social commentary and shit like that. So yeah, if you like that, give this a listen. I'm sure everyone at this point in their life has fucking heard of George Carlin. So if you haven't listened to that special, I recommend it. It's one of my favorite specials that he's ever done. And to close this video out, I have Gutless with Mass Extinction. Not going to talk about this too much because I talked about it when I got the tape from Maggot Stomp Productions. Comes with this nice insert with some cool art, and then the lyrics. The vinyl version was done by Misaku Inoho. There is red and black vinyl. I just got the black vinyl. And then those center labels look sick as fuck. But yeah, the vinyl version sounds so much better than the tape version. That is for sure. I don't know if it's because vinyl sounds better or they did something to the production before they've got it put on vinyl. But yeah, this rules. 5 songs. It's the same way that it is on the tape, where the first 2 songs are on one side and then the other 3 songs are on the other side. But if you didn't see the video that I talked about the tape Gutless is basically early Suffocation worship, some brutal beatdown riffs. Fucking killer stuff. And yeah, I could not pass up the vinyl on that. I think they're out of the red vinyl copies, but you could still, I'm pretty sure, get black. And then if they're not sold out, you can still get the tape from Maggot Stomp. But the first 2 pressings of the tape went super quick, so it's like, if they're out currently but announce another pressing of it, you're gonna want to get it super quick because it will sell out within a couple days. And yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing, all of that. Links, if I can find some, will be in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.